Hey YouTubers, X Factor here with some Crapsian Border gameplay. Engineer, to be exact, with the AKS-74u. We're playing some Rush. Pushing the right side, and patience is key. Because it's actually really hard to get pushed up in this point, especially if they have a good frog foot, which is going to keep your armor down, or they have good armor, which is going to also keep your armor down. So it's really hard to gain these positions, and I'm not one to stay lumped up with teammates, because it attracts attention, right? Not everybody's going to have a suppressor. Somebody's going to be spotted. A tank, a jeep is going to come rolling around, or the frog foot's going to have some free time to rain those lovely rocket pods upon your face. And I'm going to try to work my way over to this mid lane and get some pot shots on the tank and try to help out with our armor. This is a good spot to actually kind of lie, but here's some advice. Don't hug the concrete. If he shoots that concrete divider and you're close, kind of like I am now, you're dead. The splash damage is going to kill you. And I can't tell you how many times I've killed people behind walls just because they've been spotted or they took a shot and I can see the smoke trail. And never a good idea to go inside of crumbling buildings. If a building is that skinny, sparse, don't go near it. It's got like a 5-foot radius of death, and it's just disgusting. So here you can see the AKS-74u at work. Not the strongest engineer weapon at all. I wouldn't even put it in the top 4. But it's some variety, right? And that is the spice of life. And this poor bastard who keeps getting revived, I'm going to try to keep him down. Now, the question is, I've got teammates around me. We've got the other bomb set, and I feel comfortable pushing up. I could have kit switched that guy, but then again, with 2 tanks plus a frog foot, it's always smart to go engineer on this map. And oh gee, wow, surprise, another tank. Instant spawn vehicle servers make me mad. It really affects the gameplay. So we get those 2 bomb sets, not a big deal, and we're pushing up. I take the beep beep jeep, and one of my favorite pushes is this super far right. Way far right, because their tank spawn is back here, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you could shoot them in the ass and disable them. But again, because this is an instant spawn server, it kind of dampens, you know, the effect of when you get the enemy tank down. Now, if this was a normal vehicle server, it'd be a minute and a half roughly, and that would have larger implications. So I usually go out of my way to bust out the tanks. If it's a vanilla conquest map that's large and open, armored kill, or endgame, there's probably a 70% chance I'm going to be rolling engineer. Probably higher if it is instant spawn vehicles. Because again, keeping those vehicles in check is the biggest thing that you can do, whether you're in the armor yourself, a frog foot, a plane, or you're on the ground just pounding, just like I am now. I don't want that guy to escape because that's one less tank they're going to have on the forefront pushing on our poor little infantry, such as the recons and the support guys. Right? So every little bit counts, and that's kind of the thought process there. So we've kind of established some position here. I spawned off a teammate. Our teammates have moved up, and I'm going to take more of this aggressive advanced spot and, you know, make sure I get my bump and grind down in the stairwell because I'm going to be pushed by a couple people. So this is their spawn back here, and this is a pretty hot spot. Know that this stairwell can't be taken down by a tank shell or an RPG, the one I'm in right now. You are perfectly protected as you see the tank spamming. Now, if he catches the back ledge, kind of what I'm looking at, you're dead. The splash will kill you. But that's a 1 in a million shot, and he needs a little elevation to do it. And I don't think either tanks that are placed can make that shot right now, just where they're at in the map. But as you can see, this is a perfect spot to cover these stairwells. Now, if you go any further behind, all this can be shot out and destroyed. So be very careful. And it's always wise to know what you can shoot out on these other buildings. If you got an RPG, take out their cover. And as you can see, the infantry players are flooding back. This guy gets through. I see him on the mini-map. I want to be deeper than the deepest player. Kind of like soccer, right? Or football. The safety's the deepest guy back. You don't want them to get penetration, because what happens is if they're at that certain point, a squad bomb can happen. So you say, oh man, that's just one guy. Let him through. Well, there's 3 other guys waiting to spawn potentially, and one of them could have the suppression machine, aka LMG of choice, and that is going to create some havoc for your team. AKS-74u is not bad at medium range. It doesn't have the highest rate of fire. It doesn't have the best accuracy, but it's decent for this sort of situation. Would I want this gun on Bazaar or Sane or any city map if I had to go engineer? No. I would pick MTAR, M4A1, ACWR any day of the week and twice on Sunday. And trying to dodge a rocket, could not get out of the way. The Matrix just failed me. So on to the last set of bombs. We easily get that one. And playing with the buildings. Look at the dead bodies around you and push these containers on the far left. You can have a lot of fun putting the squeeze on these guys. You don't want them to get the outside. You don't want them to create the horseshoe around you. You want to create the horseshoe and put the pressure on the middle. It basically funnels people in, and this is true on almost any rush map. Conquest is a little bit different. But these rush maps, if you create the horseshoe, it is going to be an absolute pain train for those defenders. Because just as they start to push up the middle, they're in crossfire lines. It is just nasty, nasty death. And as you can see, I'm in the middle of the horseshoe. I'm being shot at by both angles. That's bad. So live by your words, die by your words. So what do you do at this point? You just run for the bomb. That's all you can do. The horseshoe isn't created yet, but that's always the goal, to do that. So keep that in mind. Work the flanks. Now, who else usually work the flanks? The smarter players with the better shots. So be careful about that. It's not going to be a free ride. A lot of these players who are pub stompers and proficient players, they're going to work the outsides too, because those are the power positions. And once you push far enough, you can just back rage the heck out of a team. And the worst thing about that as an assaulter is if you get wiped, where do you start back? Well, if you don't have a Amtrak, you're starting back at the spawn. That sucks. So in Rush, it's imperative that you at least keep one guy alive in your squad, or if you're that last guy alive, always pay attention to the mini-map. How many of those names are bright green, or some of them kind of doled out a little bit? If you got 2 or 3 names doled out, you better try your best to stay alive. If not, when you die, all 4 of you guys are starting back, and that is the worst case scenario. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little Rush episode of some Crapsian Border with the AKS-74u and some of my thought processes. If you learned something today or had a little fun, don't forget about the old thumbs up. And as always, we'll see you soon, YouTubers.